podcast. My name is Dave. I'm joined as ever by my friend Ian.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Sunday.
Oh, yes.
We've been waffling an awful lot.
Yeah.
It's very late
It's
here.
very late. We record these all in one go. And we power through for the sacrifices we make.
Yeah.
With many beers racked up.
Yeah. At this stage, it's...
Let's just tuck into it.
Right. Sunday battle. We're monstering.
We're monstering, yeah. So, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not entirely sure what the objectives were for this battle.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Okay, can you? Because I had, at this stage,
Yeah.
I haven't gone to bed before 4 o'clock on any night.
Okay.
I'm very ropey.
Do you know how nice it is, by the way? I went to bed fairly early both nights, not to be hungover and going to battle.
Well, I wasn't hungover. The thing is, like, my shandy game is extremely strong. I have like a...
You like to mix in a bit of shandy.
I do. I do like to actually... Weirdly, I don't drink as much as maybe people think I drink. Because I'm pretty...
You're one of those annoying drinkers where you get to a nice merry level.
I just, yeah.
And then your like gap for that is enormous.
Yeah.
You'll stay in that bubble for hours on end.
Yeah. The main problem for me is like lack of sleep. Like, bear in mind I'm a massive insomniac anyway. And with booze it does not improve.
No.
But anyway, I have no concept of what the objectives were for the battle.
I slept like a baby. So I've got new earplugs, by the way.
Earplugs are big and clever. I have I have like a face mask and I have like these kind of gel earplugs.
Yeah, I've got gel earplugs now.
So fucking good.
They're so good.
Yeah.
They're... Oh my god. I've been using really shit cheap ones.
I've been using the gel ones the whole time.
Gel ones.
Since we started.
Man.
I got them randomly on a whim, and they are bung saviors.
I've got 7 packs now, multi-packs.
They're great. I highly recommend them.
They're just so good. They decrease all the sound.
Yep.
You're like, it's nice. Anyway,
get yourself a face mask as well, and put it like really loose round, like at the back around your face. So just basically, all you care about is the eye coverage.
To be fair, my main problem with getting a good night's sleep is drinking alcohol just before I go to bed, and then my soft, weak little bladder makes me wake up.
Loo visit before bed is vital.
Visit. Stop drinking at least half an hour before bedtime.
Yeah.
Go for a nice long leak.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyway.
What's the objective of the battle, Dave?
Okay, so the objective of the battle is there is a ritual site that needs to have some ritual shenanigans done on. We're Jotun again.
Yep.
There are a few different locations with some sort of code or cipher that the Imperials need to figure out how to do a thing and then do a thing.
Okay. So
I step out. You borrow my little mage stick again.
Yeah, but I'm in my... I've made new monster kit, basically, for full... I wanted to go, like, battle mage. I think this is going to be my new thing. I think I'm going to monster as a mage from now on.
So you get siphoned off into, like, the cool kids. I have the big hammer, which I...
You looked fucking badass.
Yeah, no idea how to fight with a big fucking hammer, by the way. Yeah. It's like...
It doesn't matter, though,
no,
does it? Yeah. It's monstering.
So we get siphoned off into units. There's this one thing, and this makes me sound really jaded, but drilling as a unit, as a monster, for me feels completely useless. Because as soon as you make contact with the enemy, all of that goes out the window.
I think it depends on the type of drilling you receive. I've had, like, for example, really useful stuff, just like simple things like let's stretch, right? And I had one. I forget her name. She's phenomenal. I've actually been in a skirmish with her twice as a battle captain.
I know who you mean. Yeah,
and she does really good like neck stretches.
Stretching is big and clever.
And like sort of back stretches and sort of shoulder stuff that we do before battle. And sort of simple... What's quite good is she'll ask people who's experienced, and she'll get them to describe their understanding of various things. And it just engages everybody more than having one person dictate.
Yeah.
And then inclusion, like coming up with an identity for the unit is always good. And she tends to do that. There's a couple other people. Bill's Bastards is great as this. If you come across Bill, he's amazing.
Oh yeah.
And there's a couple other people who are like this in the skirmish team. They're all phenomenal, by the way, because it's a hell of a job taking on a skirmish group.
So, Jotun have this impression of being honour battles where they will pick up Imperial dead and throw them back across the lines. This
is a misconception.
Yeah. And at no point did anyone communicate that. They let us know about no honour duels. And that was
that's interesting because we were told, in where I was, we were told this is specifically not what we do.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
So I think it's very dependent on who you're with.
It's not uniform, potentially.
Basically,
maybe that's something needs to be.
Yeah, I think there's. I think so. I think there's just a broader misconception. I think the problem is because there are honour battles, and honour battles are more like sporting events where there are rules.
They're so lame. Yeah.
I mean, I have my views on it, but I think there are rules.
Yeah.
Like, for example, there was that one we had where there were like teams almost, where there was like healer blocks that would heal everybody.
Yes. And
in that sense, it's almost, as I say, like a sport where there are rules.
Yeah, I think that...
And teams adhere to the rules.
I think that's confusing. Maybe having like a little cheat card with like, these are the bullet points you need to let your units know, and then do it that way. I don't know. Well,
it's very tough. But
anyway,
yeah, basically...
I saw a few of that happening during this battle, and it was like...
Bear in mind, if you're felled by a Druge, for example, they're not going to pick you up and carry you over to the enemy line.
Or any enemy of the Empire, unless it's really specific. Like, Jotun don't do that.
No. And you shouldn't expect that.
No, exactly. I didn't even go into all the executions I did on Saturday.
Oh, I didn't either. Yeah.
I killed...
Well... Bearing in mind, story for the Ashbourne, we were in Hordaland for a long time. We saw some pretty nasty shit out there.
Fuck the Jotun.
Also,
I saw Death by Musicians, which was amazing.
That's great.
Death by Didgeridoo. And saxophone was
amazing.
Truly something to behold, someone being executed by a band.
Amazing.
I highly recommend it. That was the Bard Stewards. I also got told off by some Eurozeni for executing someone, but I do what I want.
Navari.
So, yeah.
Imperial Druge.
You don't execute them. I do.
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference. Yeah.
I don't play at war.
Yeah. I want to crush my enemies so hard that they never want to make war with me ever again.
No, it's really interesting. I like it actually that there is this kind of separate identity that Navarre specifically have with Jotun.
Okay, legit, I can't understand why this is so popular among the Empire.
Yeah.
Like, let's kill our enemies, shall we? Like, what are you talking about?
I think that there's a peace movement. Because a lot of people... this is the argument for it, and I understand where you're going from.
Let's hear it.
Is the Empire is very stretched militarily, and we need to close a front. Especially with the Grendel pressing. And one of the ideas is that we need to appeal to the Jotun concept of honour to basically get them to basically form a peace with us.
Okay. Now, playing by your enemy's rules is one of the dumbest concepts I have ever heard. All of this stuff has not led to peace with the Jotun. We should kill the Jotun until they no longer want to make war with us. And then we should do a peace treaty. And then try and, as the Empire, stick to the treaties that we do instead of betraying everyone. That's the major problem. It's not executing people on the field. That's my hot take.
Yeah, hot takes.
Right, so we're part of a unit
Yeah.
that is like...
The beginning of the battle was hilarious.
So we're like, our unit is meant to be a holding unit.
Are you on the field?
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you on the field?
I was on the field.
Okay.
You experienced what I experienced.
one
Whereabouts were you
One
on the
of our
field?
units...
And how long did you stand?
So our unit was... We are meant to be the anvil... That the hammer will come in while we hold the enemy in place.
Right.
And
I sure as shit hope I wasn't supposed to be the hammer.
I'm not sure. I think I was the nail rather than hammer or anvil. Because literally, we set out there. The Imperials are given a chance to completely line out into a big fucking line.
Yeah.
They charge off into the fucking bushes. There's some violence over in the trees to my right. And then they engage our line.
Yeah.
We fight them for...
There sure is a lot more of them than there are us.
There seems to be... We fight for what seems like a fucking blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And then on the field, our whole right flank decides now is the time to withdraw.
Right.
So they all start walking back,
leaving
the entire left flank to be completely encircled. Like, it was like you literally just withdrew and lost half the fucking army to... Like, I looked to my right and I was like, they're Imperials. The Imperials hadn't even realised that they had enveloped that whole side of the field yet and were marching forward. And I was like... I said to Millie, I was like... We should probably leave. Like, that's that over there. And then some of the Imperials figure out, they've just surrendered their entire fucking centre and left the entire left flank, which is a lot of people, to be encircled. They proceed to encircle us. We fight a desperate, like, retreating action into another fucking pocket where we're like constantly being like squished like zits, right? Like we go to a place, we get surrounded, some of us try and run out, the vast majority of people don't. Like in the end, I just started running. I ran all the way round the field, all the way back to the top gate.
Top gate was the only way out.
It was one of the least well organised like monstering defences I have ever seen. It was like what not to do in a battle. It was incredible. I tell
you what, Wintermark moved on us so hard and so fast, and we were so few in number because I was on like the far left flank.
Right, yeah, you got donutted like me, right?
Well, I know, it wasn't even time for that. There wasn't even time for a donutting. It was immediate contact, immediate dispersal of forces. Because they came round there's like that tree on the far left.
Yeah.
They came round there.
I got stuck in there at one point.
Yeah, and there were like 10, 15 of us, and many multitudes.
It was a massive.
We got an absolute shellacking.
It was like as soon as I saw that the centre just turn around and walk away, it was like, what is going? Why is no one communicating with each other? Why have we just been left to die here?
So I'm like a healer mage, okay? I'm a healer mage, okay?
Yeah.
So there's me. And I'm with Kieran. We sort of set up. So we're gonna be over there. Instantly get separated. I have no idea what happens to him for the rest of the battle, pretty much. And I get sort of like just through the force of impact, get moved into another unit, pretty much. Mm-hmm. There's another healer that goes down. I'm like, I heal them. It felt like that scene from Saving Private Ryan on the D-Day landings, where
That's
he's
our
like
Second Private Ryan reference, by the way.
Where he's grabbing hold of that person who's on the ground and like dragging them away, and there's only half a body left,
and it explodes, and he's like, "Give me a chance! Just give us a chance!" Yeah.
Except I'm carrying this person back with somebody else, and we're just continuously moving. we didn't even realise that the person we were carrying out had just been jabbed repetitively while we were carrying them and was just dead. And we were carrying this dead Jotun back. Just me and this other person. And they were just like, we heard them just be like, I'm very dead. We just dropped them and then ran. It was so chaotic. So it was a disaster.
I think what actually happened was the people, when they pushed through the trees, they punched straight through there.
Yeah.
So the centre saw that their right was being flanked.
Yeah.
So they just moved. There was no communication to anyone else. Yeah. And then we just got rapparooed. So by the tree, we managed to escape by just running away.
Yeah.
After everyone's like, there's ever so often there's like a brief moment of like, form the line, we stand, and then it was just massacred.
There was none of that. From where I was on the far left, there was none of that. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it would be far right if you're an Imperial, far left if you're an Orc.
Yeah, far left. I'm talking from our point of view. Yeah. So I run all the way round, and then I haven't got my glasses on, right? Because I'm wearing my Orc mask. Oh no, I am wearing my glasses, but I keep fogging up because I ran.
Same thing, yeah.
And then I'm going to Millie, like, I look over at the mid-gate, and I'm like, are those Jotun forces the Imperials? And she's like, they're Imperials. And I was like, shit. And then I was like, so then there's a tree near the top gate where there was a kind of mass retreat. And then people started yelling, there's nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else to go. We have to fight here. And then Millie goes, why don't we just play dead? And I go, great plan. So I run underneath the tree where it's shaded, and I just lie down on the ground. And then Millie does the same. And then the Imperials walk past us, and then I'm kind of like keeping a little eye out. And then no Imperials pay any attention to me. And then I see a couple of archers right next to me. So I jack in the box, fucking strike down two of them. Yeah, it was just for lots. I didn't actually kill them, but just to... It's nice.
Give them some fucking...
It's nice to fuck with archers, right?
Of course it is.
And then I run round and... Black Jack was there, and I fucking knocked him down using all of my fucking hero points. And then I run back, and then there's some chaos, some fighting, and then I'm in the trees, and the roles have kind of reversed, where we're now the gate side in the trees fighting, and basically all we do is stand there and fight them, and they shoot at us and slowly kill us. Like, they're just killing us over and over and over again. We find I think he was Dornish, and he was dead on a tree, and Agni healed him. I was very angry about that. I only found out later that she healed him, because that was like, in a battle like that, you're like, God, we've got to kill some Imperials, right?
Yeah. It looked so bad. I thought after that initial bit on the field, I kind of remember, because I was carrying this person back, right, and they were dead, obviously, in our arms, and I was saying to the other person, it's going to be one of them battles.
Yes.
And we were laughing because it was like, this is ridiculous. We got absolutely tonked. And I was like, this is going to be all battle all day. We're going to get shellacked. Right? And then we get through the forests, and then I think suddenly...
Were you on the forest, the forest
I was top gate.
Fields? Or did you actually get into the...
I got through the top gate.
Into the actual wooded area.
Okay. We broke off and go deep into the forest at this point. I think you must have been holding one of the gates. We're basically forming...
No, I was literally stuck in the coppice area, just in the field, the field woods.
Right, okay.
I'm in there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, it's the most...
You just got fucked then.
I'm with the healer block.
Okay.
And there are like a handful of fighters remaining, and they're literally just shooting us.
Yeah.
And advancing and killing us.
Man.
And it was just like, it was entirely up to the Imperials when they killed us.
Right.
And all we were doing was dying in giant
God, that's horrible.
And then
that's terrifying.
And then we saw Imperial forces moving around. I kept going to Millie going, are they Imperials or are they fucking Jotun? She was like, they're Imperials.
Yeah.
And it was like they were surrounding us, and then we were like, why don't we run out onto the field? And then they were all getting mullered there, and then it was like, right, we're all going to die here, and we kept on pushing back, and then eventually we ran around again out of the woods, and at some point I died because there was nowhere to go.
Yeah,
it was just Imperials everywhere. Jotun, every time they got spawned, just got mullered, and then I went and respawned. What were you doing? Did you have a slightly more effective?
Yeah, so once we got in the woods, a lot changed. I think there's that natural kind of slow down when they have to squeeze through mid-gate. We all come through top gate. We get sent far deep down into the woods. We form up a kind of a situation there. And at that stage, obviously, we're dealing then with like tendrils of Imperial forces that are coming through.
Okay.
Basically, we have a fairly set, like a tough set of fights. The Imperials are winning, from my perspective, all of those fights, but they're much more reasonable fights. But what is happening is Imperial forces are getting drawn out, and I think this is where problems happened. I think the experiment. I'm not fully aware of what the objectives were. But from my perspective, it felt like they were probing for things, looking for things. I'm assuming these
exactly
things.
What they were doing. Yeah.
And I think elements got pulled apart from one another, and we kept going further and further back, partly through their force of push, but also just there was nowhere else to go essentially. And I think that drew them further and further away. So. Even though it wasn't part of the battle plan, we ended up actually fighting a bit like Druge, where we were feign retreating almost, but it was just through force of pressure. Just kept pulling them deeper and deeper into the woods. And that went on for a fair amount of time. I stuck it out for a fair while until I'm fighting and I see the Jolly Jackdaws banner come round the corner. And we're in a pretty bad spot at this point because we've lost a lot of people along the way. I've been having a pretty good run, right?
Yeah.
My little healer monkey has been doing pretty well.
You're like me. I've lived long enough.
Yeah.
You know?
I see Uncle Nietzsche and the Jackdaws.
Yeah.
I'm knackered at this point as well. It's been some pretty desperate stuff. It's gone to the point, I'm a healer orc. I'm I've got your little rod and nothing else. And I'm like... I've been having to take up frontline roles multiple times just to fill in spots, just jabbing at people, kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
Stay away, that kind of stuff. No armor, basically, just could be killed at any moment. The Jackdaws move on us. I don't think they actually hear me say this, but because of the play the previous night, and it was about like Uncle fucking Nietzsche, just slaying everything. I was just like. I'm going to die anyway. I'm completely boxed in. So I'm like, oh, it's Uncle fucking Nietzsche! I scream out as they roll over us and crush us. We get killed. Stabbed up to the last person. And I'm kind of at that stage, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I'll be cowardly Jotun and fail my...
That's not on the brief, Ian.
It's not on the brief, but at this stage it was I was so surrounded. I had no... Because your rod is quite...
It's a squishy.
No, but it's it's only that long.
It's 42 inches long.
Everybody had fucking bill hooks.
Oh my god.
And shields.
Hooks, yeah.
And I was like...
Heavy armor.
I'm dead.
Dude, heavy armor and a bill hook.
Basically, there was two of us left.
Oh, were you fighting one-handed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. GG's.
I had no shield.
No, GG's.
Yeah, and I was just... Basically, it came down to... There was me and this other guy who had a shield and a sword, I think, or shield and axe. And he's he puts up a valiant last defense... I'm behind him, jabbing over the top of him because his legs get taken away. We just get rolled over. And I'm we fought well, right? We kind of run off. And at that stage, I feel like we put a good showing of it at least. And we go for respawn. And there's a lot of us and we respawn in force. And we come back.
Gate?
This is deep in the forest at this point.
Okay,
I couldn't tell you where. we come back in force, a big block of us, moving pretty much towards the same forces that just crushed us. Not long after, we'd had time to hydrate and water up and stuff like that. So I was coming back fairly fresh with the rest of the group, and we were eager for more. We came in, and I think what was happening, this is all interpretation because I have no idea. Again, I didn't know what the objectives were at the time. I think forces were retracting at that point, I assume because they'd been successful, because I think things... But I have no idea about battlefield stuff. But I come back just as I see the Jackdaw banner fall and a bunch of Leaguish kind of fall, and then Dornish start falling in large numbers. Like bam, 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 like coming down, and then we slam into the side of it as a big block, right? I think we were supposed to be a big fuck off kind of force, but it turned into a big fuck you kind of force, and we just went into them hard. And then I think it had reached that point where attrition had really this was like the most outward extended forces, and there was nowhere for them to go and no forces to relieve them, and they were cut off. And we just rick-a-rolled a whole bunch of people.
It was a bad one.
It was a bad one. I remember... shout out to the folks from To Have and To Roll. Because
yes.
who
other podcasts are
other podcasts are available. Robin and Oliver, phenomenal people. I don't actually know their characters very well, but... it basically were pushing in that area, and then I just suddenly realised I was on them. I caught Oliver with the last strike as he was retrieving. He goes down. I see Robin run. She goes down about 20 feet away.
You did hit Robin though.
Yeah, no, not Robin. Oliver.
Oh, you did both of them.
I kind of chased after them, but at that point,
you did knock down Oliver.
Yeah.
So, are you starting
No.
podcast beef right now?
Hopefully not. I got in touch with them, actually, OC afterwards. Anyway, but my point being...
Were you fuck you, ha ha ha, you're dead now, and Talos is still alive?
No, it was really sad, actually, because there's one of those things where, I literally just touched them once, and it was just the last blow. Hats off for taking...
I also think that's, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I think, that's a sign of... remember me talking about
counting your hits and taking your hits and stuff. That was top tier.
Dude, it's there are people out there who are scared of dying and scared of losing their characters. Well fucking played. Remember I was talking about the Eurozen guys where I managed to get the back of their leg and cleave them, and they went down immediately. And it was so good knowing my homies were respected the fucking rules, took their fucking hits. It's fucking great.
It was, dude, what was crazy about this, so it's we just and we moved on, and we were knocking a whole bunch of people out and basically pushed the forces out. At that stage, basically Imperials had moved out, and it was pretty obvious that this whole area was not going to get any support. They were done. And there's a lot. There's some, as I say, some Leaguish further up with the Jackdaws banner and some others, and a whole bunch of Dornish. And I'm obviously I know Oliver, and I'm wearing my Orc mask and stuff, so they probably don't know it's me. But I'm and it was such good RP because Robin is there and she's calling to him. It was fucking heavy RP, and
they're such a fucking cute couple.
It was so
Dornish.
they're 20 yards away. Calling to each other, we can still survive, we can still make this whole thing. I was so sad, and I'm I can't just leave it like that, right? So I pick him up and I carry him over to her so they can be together. Basically, I put them together. I get hit on the way over because everybody assumes I'm retrieving what you shouldn't do, which is take people out of the battle.
You're
you're
being a romantic cutie pie.
Yeah,
and trying to make them have a good death, which is...
It was cool. And the RP was so intense, because I dropped them off together, and they were, properly, embracing, and they were still, It was so sad. I teared up.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah.
And I was it gave me... the feels.
Yeah.
It was...
Dude, being there was like, they were literally like, yeah, I mean, like, they'll probably talk about it better on their podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Go listen to them,
because like the emotions are hard to. For me, the guilt hit so hard, and I knew there was no way out as well.
I bet their episode's fucking great. By the way, I bet them talking about it is really good. Ian,
it was, yeah.
You did that.
Yeah.
You made love die.
Yeah, I'm the worst.
And I think you're going to have to live with that.
Yeah, it was sad. The RP was great. Like, seeing them like role play it all out. It was the shift, because the other thing is, while this is happening, there's still this little pocket that's further up of like last holdouts. And it was so tragic because like they could see them, and these are obviously friends of theirs, I'm assuming. I don't know. And they're seeing them just getting cut down one at a time, right? Because it's just surrounded and squashed like a small circle. We're talking like maybe 10 people, but you're talking about like 30 Jotun just surrounding them and just cutting them down in a small blob. And it was just so tragic, them calling out to people. And I was just like, I shed a little tear, I'm not going to lie. I had to leave because I didn't want to be a weeping Jotun around this kind of crazily romantic couple. It was so sad. But massive props to them and all the Dornish she felt. I went basically at that stage. I was just like, I felt I was pretty cut up actually. So I kind of went around because I knew that the Jackdaws had lost their banner as well. So I started over there. I went up to them and I thought, one thing I can do as a Jotun is basically be like, you know, you fought with honor, Imperial, and I just went around basically everybody who was down and told them that, essentially, you know, and just tried to give them like some kind of RP to let them know that they'd fucking been awesome. Yeah, it was fucking heavy. It was heavy, and it was like one of those things where I hadn't really had that before, where people you know who obviously play hard RP and you care about.
It's so tough.
Yeah.
Like,
you want to play the game legit as well, and they're playing the game legit. One massive props to Robin, actually, when she was running away, obviously, from after Oliver got taken down, she was running and got like 15 feet maybe. Somebody like hit her, and she did this crazy sliding, like she's wearing heavy armor, right? Like, or it looks heavy armor anyway. Does like a sliding fall. And I'm just like, I wouldn't fall like that. I would be like, oh, and fall like, she took like a heavy fall. And I was like, blimey. So massive props. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, go and listen to the Having to Roll episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you are looking for some mega feels,
yeah,
they're going to talk about bleed. They're going to talk about what it's like to lose a character.
I can only imagine, dude. I mean, bear in mind, I'm not like you've had this with Ifan, but it's different when you're playing that.
I didn't die with my OC wife or partner, and like I can only imagine how transformative an experience like that is.
True. Yeah.
And I just think it's obviously narratively. It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it's really nice. On a human level, it sucks to see people that you know and like fucking have their characters die. But, hey, who knows what they'll do next. It's
I really hope they find a good game next. Like, I think they've been killing it, right? Like, I honestly, I don't know the characters very well, but, like, they've had a big impact, right? Like,
yeah.
I think if you just have to look at the pictures to know how much of an impact they've had, and just talk to anyone.
The pictures are beautiful.
Yeah. But it was actually one of those things as well. You're walking around and you're just seeing a lot. It's not, you know, like there's a lot of people. Like I said, the Jackdaws lost their banner.
We're talking about like 2 people that make a podcast, but like 26 Dornish died.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure. It might even be more than that.
No, it's 26. They at the beginning of Senate, the Field Marshal always does a count, and we have a moment of silence for them, for the honoured dead. But the Imperials did complete all the objectives.
Well, that's good. I thought they must have won because, to be honest with you, I'll be completely honest. Up until that point, it felt like we were just getting beaten every single time we moved.
It was a massacre.
Yeah.
I mean, absolute massacre.
It just felt like it felt actually quite reminiscent of the battle we had where I called the retreat, where everything was
going well until right at the end.
Right at the end. Withdrawing is the hardest thing.
So when I respawned at Top Gate and there was a big bunch of us walked down, there was like the crush by the mid gate, and the battle was coming to an end. And Millie was like, "Let's go get milkshakes," and I was like, "Yes, milkshakes."
Yeah.
So we basically just headed off and went and got a banana milkshake with a shot of coffee in it. Fucking, that's what you need. It's really interesting. The barbarian forces, the Jotun forces, did seem to have a lack of a command structure, but I feel like the spawning seemed to
very aggressive.
Save the battle.
Our last spawn at the end was hyper aggressive, like very tough on those last few forces. As I say, I think it was meant as a fuck off, and it just turned into a massive fuck you. I don't really blame anybody. It's just that's the way these things go.
Just to remind everyone, I know one of my friends got a very nasty bruise. Hold your blows, people.
Yeah.
Hold your blows.
Jeez. Yeah.
It's very hard to police.
Yeah.
It's very hard to notice, especially with a double-handed weapon.
And do watch head hits as well. Like there was a Dornish person who was involved in this whole thing who I didn't see, but like got pretty upset because they received quite a few head hits. And was very upset.
You know my feelings on head hits.
Yeah, I think I mean...
There are mechanics to shatter, repel, strike down.
Well, this person didn't have a shield, so if they were receiving head hits, it was completely unnecessary.
I just don't think they should be part of the game.
Yeah. It was... Anyway, just check yourselves. Yeah.
Generally, though...
I think both battles were fantastic.
Yeah,
personally.
So do I. And we're being I think that's maybe being a bit hypercritical.
Yeah.
But
well, we care about it, right?
Well, yeah, we do care about it. Like that's the difference, right? I think mostly Empire battles are very safe. I think the referees do a really good job.
Oh, the refs are fantastic. When I died after the whole thing, I didn't know where to go. We got smashed so hard. I kind of got a bit lost. Another funny thing, actually. So I'm obviously as a mage, I'm kind of given free mana, and obviously I can be looted, and said mana can be taken off me. And I kind of I got this mana. I want someone to be able to loot me. I've never been looted before. This sounds like fun.
Ian, it sounds very much like you're breaking the rules right now.
So I'm kind of I'd rather than just have it stuck in my pocket, I thought I'd just kind of lay them on my chest and hold them. I want people. So, and then somebody came up, and it was great. It was cool. It was cool RP actually, because they kind of man. And the other crazy thing was because a Dornish person literally died on my leg. This was before the whole thing. So
did you get Dawn on you?
I did. So it was a dead Jotun and a dead Dornish person on top of me, basically, and somebody obviously who came to retrieve this area of the battlefield before I went to respawn was looting the fuck out of me. It was very yeah.
I heard that there was a kind of parlay where a lot of the dead were handed back, which I think is good.
Yeah, I think that happened at the end because there was a bit basically after we had seen them off. We went through, pushed them back through the field, kind of circled round back into the top gate, and we just basically got told not to go to a certain area. I assume, I wasn't there, but I assume that's because they were retrieving the dead and taking them through the gate and giving them time. Because obviously it's tough. Like those moments are difficult to handle, and obviously you don't want people stumbling through on their way to get snacks after a battle.
Well, the milkshake was lovely. So after the battle, headed back, and at that point, I felt like we just got absolutely massacred. So when I went to Senate at 2, it was like Field Marshal came
We
out.
met up, I think, just before, because I said to you that because our perspectives of the battle were very different.
Very different.
Because I was telling you,
I saw a few dead Dornish.
yeah, I said to you it was really bad. Like,
Yeah.
and you were like, because you told me that people that I thought were down were alive,
got rescued,
and I was like, "There's no way, that's impossible."
Yeah.
And then obviously later on, that turned out to be the case. Yeah,
I go to Senate. Field Marshal comes out. She's like very morose.
yeah,
And because it's timeout is 3:00. Senate starts at 2, so we've only got an hour to go.
yeah,
And it was literally like the list of dead took a long time. It was literally 26 names, and then it was like commendations were really long, and then they were like, I was like, holy shit! I had no idea that many people had died, like a great big pile of Dornish dead. But then I heard that all objective had been completed.
yeah. As I say, I think it literally all just went wrong in the last few moments. I think it was like last 10 minutes.
Way.
Yeah.
Such is the way. So I'm in Senate.
Yeah.
I'm doing my thing. It's pissing it down with rain. Like it's raining cats and dogs.
Yeah, dude.
It's soaking wet. People are like, have to come out and be like, one guy was like, can I stand under here and read this? And they were like, no, you have to come out to the Senate and actually read it. It's like, but I'm going to get my paper wet. And it's like, dude, like, everything's getting wet. You know, like, we're all going to be moist after this.
Yeah.
But yeah, went for a few Senate motions. And the one I want to talk about is a Liberty Pact vote.
Right.
Liberty Pact person comes out, explains that because of the Axos helping out the Grendel, they've now done a vote, and now if you do something bad against the Liberty Pact, there's going to be sanctions against the force that did it. And part of this was that the Empire is not allowed to supply military aid to anyone that a member of the Liberty Pact is fighting. This includes nations we haven't met yet. And bear in mind, the Empire, there are realms beyond the Empire, let alone inside. And my feeling on this should very much be something that the Senate should decide.
Yeah.
Not some barbarians who don't follow the way.
Yeah.
And I voiced my concerns, and I said this is a warning that, like, we are handing over our sovereignty to, non-following of the way foreigners.
Yeah.
And the vote happened, and I was the only one that stood on the other side.
Ugh.
Well, no.
Good for you, though.
Do you know what? I liked it.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things where it was just like, no, I actually feel pretty fucking principled behind this. I think this is like, bear in mind, Gellert believes in the Empire. So I believe the Senate, the Synod, the Military Council, Conclave, we are the people who should make decisions on the Empire's future, not this very small amount of representatives from different foreign nations.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I stood against it. And when I left, one of the senators said, I thought it was very courageous of you to take a stand like that. And I was just like, I'm just thinking long term.
Yeah.
Like, this is a problem in... Like, right now, everything seems fine.
Yeah.
But this is going to come up again. And how deep are we going to be in this before there's a breaking point? And at that point, are we basically setting up other foreign nations to be rulers of the Liberty Pact, where we have no voice, and we're getting censured and potentially going to war with the Liberty Pact, who we actually created? Like, really interesting.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, everything I just said, I could be completely wrong. The Liberty Pact could be the best thing ever. destroy fucking slavery.
It's
big happy ending. Who knows?
I think I think the finding of Gellert in a lot of this has been a big aspect for it. Like you know, you're playing Gellert as he believes the Empire to be, and I think that gives you
and I think like
Gellert's opinion of how, as you say, But bearing in mind, we from outside can look at the Empire and clearly see the Empire is far from perfect.
We're the baddies, yeah.
We are definitely not good guys.
No.
In multiple different ways. But
Gellert
doesn't see it
that
way.
Empire, right? Like, he hates slavery.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we should be like a freedom cult and be blind to all other things, including the way, which is why, in theory, in the game world, we should hate slavery, is that you cannot live you have a reduced ability to live a virtuous life if you are a slave.
Yeah.
If we liberate slaves who don't follow the way, nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Like, from an imperial point of view, anyway. I don't know. It's very interesting. I get the feeling probably not going to be the most popular person in Senate, and this may well harm me going forward, or it has the opposite effect and I come across as principled, actually believe in the way and the Empire, but who knows.
Yeah, I think it's just an interesting game to gauge it. Like, it's not, again, all of this is circles I don't really move in. I don't really have any concerns with. I'm pleased one of us is engaging with these kind of things. I think, like, you enjoy it a lot, clearly. I think.
Well, I started this weekend, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to run again for Senate.
I was really sad when you said that.
And I had some very good people come up to me and be like, say some very nice things about me, and were like, dude, like, if you're not enjoying it, don't do it.
Yeah.
But, like,
I think that's a legitimate reason not to
you've
run.
got all the skills. And honestly, I felt really good. Getting a motion
I think that was
passed for
important,
something I cared about, standing up for my principles in Senate, asking questions, giving my opinion on stuff. Like, I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable in that room now. And, yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I dare I say it, I'm starting to enjoy it.
I think there's elements of Type 2 fun to it, for sure.
Yeah.
But then I think that is true of a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
There are things like working for... doing coursework to get a grade that gets you a thing is not necessarily enjoyable, but getting the grade can be very good.
Let me put it this way.
Learning the thing can be very good.
Like I was saying before, when you're a general in the military council or you're a senator, you represent whoever voted you in, and you are an island, and your judgment is your own. And I think there's something about, like, the Senate, because it's very close knit. Some senators have been senators since day one, since the beginning of Empire, and those people maneuver very well. They're very well connected. They have a lot of friends and a lot of influence, and they, frankly, are fantastic orators. They know more about the history and everything about the game, and it's very intimidating. And you want to be like, you want to get on with the cool kids, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to get to the point where I'm just like, fuck it. Absolutely fuck it. I might as well speak my opinion and do what I think is best for the Empire, because I represent my constituents in Navarre. Yeah. And I'm beholden to them.
Yeah, they'll vote you out if they don't want you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's what I was saying earlier. One of the things I respected with Caro, for example, was Robert stood, right? He didn't stand down, he stood.
Yeah. And
I that's what... I mean, obviously, if you're not enjoying it, don't do it. But if you are enjoying it, or if there's fun, if there's things to be gained from you...
now, though.
Like, then I would say run, because Gellert would want you to run.
Well, we'll see. It's not till E1.
Yeah, you've got time.
But let me put it this way.
But, like, I think there's a certain degree of honesty to the character.
Just the ambassador being like, I need this motion passed. I want to get this motion passed. can you help? And then being like, I know exactly what it's like to be you.
Yeah.
I know how hard it is trying to get a senator to put a fucking motion in and all of that stuff, and being like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll help you out with that. That's something that's completely in line with what I want to happen.
Yeah.
We need to encourage people to give up slavery with a carrot rather than a stick. This is completely... And it felt like a real... I don't know. I don't feel like I've done anything yet as a senator. And that felt like something that's like a real... Bear in mind, this is when we find out that LOL... Iron Confederacy didn't fucking quit fucking slavery and it's really bad and the Liberty Pact.
Sure, but then that's their choice.
But you can only work with the information you have, and from the information I had, then So really good. Standing.
So I go to standing. You didn't go to standing.
I was in Senate.
Yeah, you went to Senate.
Oh no, it was before then, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to go to Senate.
Yeah,
you go.
Actually, to be fair, there was not a lot said by senators at standing on the Sunday. To be honest with you, because there's not a lot to be said. It was fun. It was like not too much particularly happened. Apart from, I'm there with Ifan. I'm talising out a little bit. I've got Ifan's my iguana that I have on my shoulders. Erin comes along. He's played by Justin. He often calls out, "What is that thing on your face?" Which means that I have to act like I'm in pain and tell him what it is. And he's like, "Talis, what is that thing?" And I'm already getting ready to cringe, right? On your shoulder, he said. And we laugh, and I explain that it's Ifan, and that you can tickle him under the chin. I do like a little purring sound when he tickles him, and it was so funny. We spoke afterwards, and I was like, "Yeah, you've broken me. You've conditioned me to like have a natural response to you asking me what that thing is." I was like, "Oh no."
You're wincing.
I was wincing before he asked the question. It's like, that's how he knows he's won. He's broken me. Son of a bitch. Everyone's got a breaking point. It didn't take long. So that was fun. Another thing that happened, I only caught a little bit of this because I was a little bit like you. I was pretty gassed off the battle, I think, and just needed a little bit of time. So I was a bit late to the circle. When I turned up, there was some kind of thing going on with another person getting branded with the freezing brand of Iramis.
Another one?
Yeah, and I don't know what this was about, but this person was being branded for whatever their transgressions were by a Kalain, who's one of our egregores.
Really?
Yeah. So obviously a fairly big deal. The announcement that was going to be done was by Kalain, and then somebody else came out and did the actual branding. Winter Mage, I think. It's a winter thing. And I was like, how does Talis respond to seeing someone branded, right? Like in this way, because he's been through it himself.
Probably wince.
Yeah, so I turned away. I couldn't look at it. Travid, it was cool RP because like a bunch of people. This is like. There was tension. I could feel it. And like Trevor came up to me and he was like, I'm not sure if there should be an intervention here. And he saw me turn away. And nothing happened, but it was just like, it was interesting. And it's like it's a strange thing, right? Like where it's like, is this... Because bear in mind, I don't know the context of why this was being done.
If the fucking egregores calling for it...
Exactly. That's my opinion on it. That's why I didn't stop it. But then also Talis' view on it is like, the reason I've been branded is so I can be an object lesson. And that's his that I can teach people through my errors, right? People can grow through my failings.
The truth of the matter doesn't matter. It's the lesson for the nation.
Counts. So I went round and I was like, after standing, we should talk. And that was fun RP, just talking to them about why we bear the brand, what it means. Hopefully that player, who I don't know, but it was just fun RP to have let's sit with them and talk to them about the nature of the brand, why we're branding, what we can do, how we can serve the nation by being branded. I thought it was fun RP to be like, yeah.
You're like that that parable when we're at school, the person that got branded with the ST for being a sheep thief, and then they go on to live a really virtuous life in a forest land.
I don't remember that one, but yeah.
And then the ST counts for saint.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right?
I don't remember that parable at all, but yeah. Like, something like that. Hopefully, I would like that. Like, I like the idea of Talis has a lot of failings, and I like playing it that way. But he genuinely, his heart is in the right place. He's flawed, right? He's just a flawed person.
I think that's something that we should, like, in the real world. I really don't think many people believe they're acting maliciously. Some people do. But whatever aspect of the political spectrum you are and what your beliefs are and whatever,
sure.
I'm like a believer that people generally think they're doing it for the right reasons.
I think people aspire to good.
Yes.
And especially if you look at people's personal connections with those human beings around them, I think people are naturally drawn towards good outcomes. You want to see the people that you love triumph.
Right.
And you're born towards your own personal experiences of existence, and that's how you progress through life, and those are the things you want to see. Your ignorance of certain other things may lead you to false conclusions.
Exactly.
But your broader perspective of what is good for those people you love is true. And truth can be found through that, even if that truth is built on a fallacy, if that makes sense.
So if you come in to kill Gellert,
yeah,
he's just ignorant, he's not a bad person.
Yeah.
But you should totally kill Talis.
Right. So after that, I think what the other thing is standing, I should say, is the whole thing of, and I'm not sure if this happened on Saturday instead, but I'm going to say it on Sunday, was the whole thing with this person using the Dance of Nefar and Fawn. I think this was on Saturday.
Yeah. Definitely on Saturday.
Definitely it's on Saturday. And then we had just a very fucking rainy pack down.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
It absolutely pissed it down.
Yeah. But I think I was in a broadly good mood. It had been a really good event.
Well, I wasn't in a hurry to go, so it was pretty chill.
Yeah.
And then
normally
they let people on site early.
Yeah.
And a lot of people left early.
Yeah.
And therefore, actually, when we got round to... We just sat under the awning.
Yeah.
And me, you and Bung.
Yeah, we had
said goodbye to
time.
John.
Yeah.
And then we just sat around and had a really good chat.
It was nice because I know obviously it's difficult because I've got a bunch of stuff. And often, obviously you're not going to want to wait around normally for me to pack down all my stuff. But having that extra person to help with the awning really helped.
So I went to help V unpack her tent the day on Monday. I got to see the site with no one on it.
Yeah.
And there is a team, when I got there, helped unpack the tent. It was drizzling. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as we did on the Sunday. But there's a team of litter pickers.
Amazing.
Meticulously going around the site. I checked our camp, by the way.
Yeah.
No litter.
We were pretty good.
We did well.
Yeah, we did well. We tend to. I mean, like, to be fair, although our camp isn't as OC as it possibly could be, our
IC,
actual, IC as it could be, our actual sort of setup is pretty
responsible.
Decent.
Yeah.
We're all fucking.
But yeah, I thought it was, there's a lot of unpaid volunteers who really bust their balls.
For the whole event.
To make sure that we have a good time. So,
massive props to all of those people from every different role.
I've continued to give a beer to the ticket staff.
Yeah.
Every single time. I don't go on about it all the time, but man, they deserve that. They really work really hard. From God, the toilet crew, security. I mean, there's a lot of people giving a lot of their time for no money to let us have a good time, and it's really, really admirable.
It's a triumph, dude. It's massive props to all those people.
Right, you're gonna roll the little dice.
I'm gonna roll that little dice. D12. 4.
4. Ellis Q. Now, yeah, Ellis? Yeah, Ellis. She's from the United States, by the way.
Oh.
And
So possibility that doesn't actually attend Empire.
yeah, I just
If
think
that is the case...
No, that is the case.
Oh, right, okay.
And it's one of those patrons that I'm glad they came up, because it's just like, that's fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Like, having patrons from around the world, just
Because
really
you get
nice.
you get all the stats, and it's actually like often you'll like say, oh, we've got like people listening to us and so or so and so. It's really interesting, and like, oh man, they're like, thank you so much, Alice.
We blew up in
Was it
Sweden recently.
Yeah.
So thank you to our Swedish listeners.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Me and my best mate chatting about stuff that we care
We have
about.
waffled on this time.
But like having like I don't know, like our little thing in the world, putting out a bit of positivity.
Yeah.
And you, just by listening to this, really make our lives, fulfilled and happy.
Yeah. It's hard to talk, but I'm sure we're actually getting towards that time. After, I suppose, once E4 passes, we've got a few things left to do. We've got the Hobbit LARP.
Yeah,
we're going to record that on Monday.
Yeah.
Then I'm heading off to you with Flying Lead.
Flying Lead, baby.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited for Flying Lead, by the way.
We actually get to go to another LARP together.
I've never been to another LARP system before.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
So I'm so excited.
We're going to have a really good time.
I'm really
We're going to have a really good time, dude.
Genuinely excited.
I've got like...
You've got
Northern,
Legion or something?
I've got Northern Kingdoms. I've got Legion in Czech Republic in January.
Your bonkers lifestyle.
Oh my god, it's going to be so bad. We're thinking about releasing some roleplay games over the Long Dark.
That'd be fun.
It probably, because there's going to be large gaps.
Yeah.
We've recorded a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
We're thinking, let's just get it out here.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to it, you can.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, it's all good.
Yeah.
But like, some of it's fucking great.
Some of it's great fun. Yeah.
So, but yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our patrons. And we hope you're having a lovely day, whatever you're doing.
Strength in the fun.
Strength in the bar.